There we go.
There you go. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. So you finally do face-to-face now. This is great.
Yeah, finally. Yeah. Even though it's from my car, but it's a start.
Hey, you know, it's place, right?
That's exactly right. The only place I can get quiet from my job. Otherwise, too many people walking around.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're in an office environment, so yeah, there's going to be a lot of people nosiness and all that.
Yeah. I always take my lunch hour in my car anyway, just to get away from people, because there's people that come in and just talk about work during their lunch break, and I don't like that at all.
You're like, guys, this is fucking lunch break, okay? Go away.
Pretty much. Exactly.
I can't do this right now. Just I need to take a lunch break. Like just
exactly, brother. That's exactly right.
Oh, yeah. I when I worked full-time guard, I did the same thing. I went in either in my car or walked around or something, because it's just too much of like cross, stuff. It's just like, I don't want to talk about work. I just let me be.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure.
Yeah.
That's why I try not to be friends with coworkers on LinkedIn or anything like that, because they bring it up during after work hours. I'm like, come on. Unless we're like talking about some of the coworkers like crazy behaviors, I don't want to talk about, oh, those orders are taking forever kind of stuff. I'm
like yeah,
trying to chill. Yeah.
Let me just be myself out, any time to myself. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. And it sucks that most of the people in my job are like, there's a lot of women, so it's like they're all about pumpkin spice this time of year right now, and there's not many people that weight lift. And there's a lot of veterans that work at this company, but they're all like the road technicians, so they're out on the road fixing the forklift with customers. So it's not like I can talk to them either. So it's fun, if you can say that.
Yeah. How long have you been doing that?
I've been in this industry for about 7 years now, but I've been in logistics ever since I was in the Air Force in 2006.
Oh, okay.
I just figured it would be good training. My uncle that was a Green Beret in Vietnam told me to join the Air Force because they had the best training to civilian life. And I listened to him because he was the reason I joined the military to begin with. And it's been great so far. Just without a degree, this field really is picky on having a degree unless you start your own business. Because it's like they don't even care what your degree is in. As long as you have it, then you can become a manager. It's kind of crazy that it doesn't have to be in logistics or business or anything.
Huh.
I just don't understand that at all.
Yeah, I would think you'd want to. That's interesting. I think you want to have something, or I mean, some requirement, I guess. But then again, I think most jobs are going to that. A lot of jobs are going to that where, they want a degree of sorts to, move forward in any company.
Yeah, it's very weird. And I thought that was going away, but it seems to be coming back more and more.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really experienced it because I'm, self-employed, but I've heard a lot about it. Well, a lot of LinkedIn posts and, people posting on stuff, but I'm glad I don't have to worry about that. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do as far as with my degree in sorts, because right now I'm probably just going to just do my business or, transition to another business and my podcast.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, that's a good idea. Because the way things are going right now, you never know.
Yeah, with the whole private businesses, vaccine mandates, and all that shit, it's sad because so getting my degree or working on getting, I'm almost finished. And then thinking of the places that I want to apply to, if I wanted to apply, because I mean, in my program, they have like this thing, which is like it's a connection point to employers. So the employers can kind of contact you and, based off your profile from your university and what you're capable of. And and I'm like, I don't even know, like, I don't want to apply these places because I don't know if there's going to be a vaccine mandate or whatever. And I'm just
I
thinking,
know.
I did all that work for like what, and I'm like, well, okay, I'm just going to do my own business.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at right now too, because I'm close to my degree as well. And like most of the places that are going to pay you what you should be getting paid are going to require the jab, guaranteed. And it's not even regulated anymore, and they just shut it down in the courts. But it doesn't matter, because as soon as the cat's out of the bag, companies are going to be emboldened because it's like, oh, Biden backs me up, so I'm just going to do it anyway. And it doesn't make any sense. And the FDA just like requested that they won't release the data until like 2076. What is up with that? It's like they have something to hide.
Why would they? That's stupid.
I think it was Pfizer requested that the FDA not request the information until that long, but by then the damage is already done. There's some crazy stuff going on here. It's like, I don't know what to believe, and it's just crazy.
I don't know either. There was something, I'm looking for it now, but there was a post by a friend of mine on my Instagram that had something to do with what was it? Something to do with the current leaders of like Pfizer and Moderna, and how they had come over from like the FDA and a couple other places.
Oh yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. How like the political lobbyists just suddenly get jobs at these big pharma companies.
Yeah.
And then people that they replace go to the politician side. It's like a never-ending circle of screwing us taxpayers over.
It's like, let me just screw you over continuously. And so here it is. So Scott Gottlieb, he's the former FDA commissioner in charge of regulating Pfizer. He is now the current member of the board of the directors of Pfizer.
Oh, not surprising at all.
And then Stephen Hahn, which he is the former FDA commissioner in charge of regulating Moderna, and he is the chief medical officer of Flagship Pioneering, which is a venture capital firm behind Moderna.
Wow.
That's two. There's two more. James Smith, which is on the left, is the CEO of, so he's the CEO of Reuters, in charge of informing people about the COVID-19 vaccines. And he is now the current board member of the directors of Pfizer.
I just don't get it. It's just a never-ending cycle.
It's just this continuous pile of shit that people, and the problem is everybody's backing them up. Everybody's believing. Everybody's not like running away and going, you know what, you're fucking retarded. Like, why?
Yeah, you're right.
There's the wool. The wool is pulled so far over their eyeballs. They're not even like close to getting out of, and thinking for themselves.
Yep. Yeah, agreed. And it's solved by the media, because they pay for the media. I've seen that a lot. Like a lot of the media segments are brought to you by Pfizer all of a sudden. It's like, you're just like, I can't believe people don't see that. But more and more are starting to wake up finally. But it might be too late, because you can't reverse putting something in your arm.
No.
Oh my. Gotta love the Google phone.
Oh, okay.
I'm not surprised at all. It does that from time to time. It did it on a job interview like 3 months ago. I don't understand. I guess it's a cell phone reception at work.
Oh,
that's probably what it is.
Yeah, because you're like, hey. I'm like, all right.
Yep. It wasn't YouTube or Big Pharma cutting us off at all.
No.
Not this time.
Not this time. Not yet.
Not yet. You never know. It seems to be coming like every podcast I watch, like Steven Crowder or Tim Pool, like it suddenly just gets slower once they start talking about the controversial stuff. So I'm like, maybe they're trying to shadow ban people without even putting it out there.
It could be. I mean, they don't want the information to get out there. They keep on, and I keep on doing this with my own YouTube. Like even with like like some of the channels that I'm coming across, things, the videos I'm watching, and then they have like the COVID-19 vaccine thing down at the bottom. I'm actually emailing YouTube and be like, you know what, can you get rid of that? Because I understand, so let's stop. Like, you've already pushed it for like 2 years, so let's just stop.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to. The propaganda has to be constant for people to be indoctrinated in it. Mm-hmm. And they just don't get it by now. The people that don't want it are not going to get it, and they're willing to die on that hill. They just don't understand. Yeah. But maybe they can scare a few more people into getting the jab. I just don't get it at all.
Like, well, here in Oregon, it was a consistent, I mean, we're still locked. No, I wouldn't say locked down here, but we're like, okay, so you're shamed into having to wear your mask everywhere. Like, yeah, motherfuckers outside and they're wearing a mask by themselves. And I'm like, come on, guys. Do you not understand you're stupid? Like,
yeah, it's kind of crazy.
So, I mean,
people are still doing that here too. They're wearing them inside their own cars. Not everybody. It's about 1% of people that I see, but it's there.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I see it. We have a lot of people driving with their masks on here. But then again, like I'm seeing it affecting their thought processes. Like I've had people, where they're in the car and they have the mask on and they're in front of me and they're going to turn, but then they just stop in the middle of the road. No other cars coming the opposite direction, and they stop. And I'm like, you're turning left. Do you not understand this concept? Do you just need to follow through? It's just.
That's weird.
It is weird. I'm seeing more and more of it here.
Okay.
I'm driving on the roads all the time.
Yeah, I'm not surprised people are being that crazy, but that's a new level. Just stopping in the middle of the road.
Yeah, like I had they weren't wearing a mask, but they were driving, and like, so they were driving across, right, and then they were going to turn left. Well, yeah, they didn't turn, and I'm about ready, and I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to go, because you're parked in the middle of the road. And then as I go, they're like, let's go. And I'm like, come on, guys. I'm glad that I really, really watch myself as I drive. My parents taught me correctly.
That's all you can do, because there's too many people that are crazy drivers. It's bad out here in the East Coast or in any big city, really. Yeah. But I'm not surprised with the people that, tend to vote liberal. But that's just me. I did vote liberal once. I voted for Obama his first term, and that's about it. Usually libertarian, but like you can't do that anymore, sadly, because the numbers aren't there. But hopefully things are changing soon, because there's a lot of things changing locally. Because like here in Pennsylvania during the last election, like just happened a couple of weeks ago, over 100 seats turned into libertarian seats. So hopefully that can help change some things. That was massive. And it's sad that I didn't even see that on any media posts, except for like Crowder actually talked about it. Like, that's mainstream media is getting crazy. They're not reporting anything.
Well, what was it? I don't know if it was YouTube or Google or something, but it was saying that, no, it was you. Anyway, it was one of the like YouTube, Facebook or whatever, but it was saying that like no, it was YouTube. So we want to make sure that your feed is the best, and so we're making sure that you're not seeing anything that's maybe harmful or whatever. I'm just like, I don't care. Just send me everything. I'll decide if it's harmful,
Yeah, exactly. That's misinformation, thought police type stuff they're doing right there.
Yeah.
They're going to show you what they want you to see, not what you need to see. It's getting dangerous. The only thing they haven't done was they haven't started killing people yet, is where we're at. And that could be coming soon, because they're just starting to target journalists now.
Oh,
they went after James O'Keefe. Do you see the FBI raided Project Veritas?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Some crazy stuff. That's dangerous.
Oh God.
And he seems to be like the only journalist that's got balls anymore and like speaks the truth. Like he blew the lid off of everything, and that's probably why they went after him.
Oh, I'm sure of it. Yeah, because you can't have. I mean, if you're trying to control people, you can't have people that are trying to tell the truth. They're trying to expose stuff.
That's correct.
God, that's sad.
And it's scaring too many people. Like a lot of veterans that aren't speaking up, and it's kind of crazy. I just don't get it. You took an oath, and they're not doing anything. Granted, they probably don't want to lose their jobs or livelihoods, but you got to take a stand at some point.
Oh yeah. I mean, yes, okay, it's going to be controversial, or it's going to expose you to whatever, but at the end of the day, do you want to be comfortable not saying anything, and then something happens, and then you're like, well, shit, if I would have said something, then X, Y, and Z. But
right.
I don't know. I people need to speak up, because otherwise we're gonna wake up in a world where they're controlled everything that they do. All the pieces are there, they just haven't put them all together.
You're right. It's getting crazy. If grown men would speak up, we wouldn't have the situation that Kyle Rittenhouse is in. Like, he wouldn't have been there if people would have at least, you could have just like came outside and said, hell no, get the hell out of here. And like the mob would have backed down, because they're a bunch of pussies, to put it correctly. Like, it's just what they are. And it's kind of crazy that there was like a convicted pedophile in there and convicted felons. I don't understand how they get out of jail. And then they're putting him through the media circus. It's getting crazy that a kid was in that position to begin with.
Yeah, there's way too much shit out there. My God.
Yeah. I don't see it coming to blows, because people are too comfortable and they don't want to look up from their screens long enough to get there. But hopefully this great awakening that's happening is going to help something, because
I think there's something going. I mean, but it's got to be more. But there are pockets throughout the United States of people that are waking up and saying fuck you and everything else.
That's true.
It's just we need to be able to connect the dots, of like here in Oregon, people are so bamboozled. It's so bad.
Yep.
Like a friend of mine, she was like, she goes, I really wish that I didn't have to wear my mask. And I'm like, I was like, okay, so here's the deal. You don't have to wear it. All you have to do is do this, throw it away, and just go about your life, And she's like, well, and I'm like, come on, stop being stupid and fucking just take your mask off and live your life.
Yeah, agreed. It's not like the cops are being like Australia right now, or Austria.
Oh, Austria, dang.
Yeah, that's happening. The UK, some of the UK politicians are asking for those kind of lockdowns too. So it's probably going to happen globally. At least they're going to try. That's their next play. It was predictable.
I don't quite understand why people at this point in time, we've been through this for like 2 years, how in the United States, at least, we'd even consider allowing it. But the thing about it is everybody is just following the leader.
Right.
And that's why we're getting out of Oregon. It's one of the reasons.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea. And that following the leader mentality goes to us too, because the one podcast I watched, Dan Bongino, who's a huge one in the Republican space. I'm sure you've heard of him.
Yeah.
He talked about how it's not important for the first person to stand up and dance at a party. It's the people that follow their lead that are the most important ones, and it creates a wave. And that's fantastic. And that's starting to happen with people like us, helping other people wake up. And then they're realizing that they can just say no. That's the most powerful word in the English language when it comes to freedom. Just say no, kiss my ass, or make me. That's what I've been saying the whole time since 2 years ago. Like, I'm not wearing no fucking mask. Like, if I was supposed to wear a mask, I would have been born with one on.
Yeah.
And like, not gonna make me. If you can't, you can try, but nobody's gonna make anyone wear a mask. No one wants to get in a physical altercation.
No.
And it's just that mentality is American as hell, and too bad not many people have it. Like, we're supposed to be rebels. You're not supposed to listen to the government.
No, I mean, that's the whole reason why we created America, or why America was created, was that kind of freedom.
Right.
And of course, people are letting it happen. And I'm just like, come on.
And then you have people being like, that's not going to happen here. We have the Second Amendment. I'm like, that doesn't mean shit if you're not willing to practice your rights.
Yeah.
Like, you have to speak up. And if that doesn't work, you have to peacefully protest. And if that doesn't work, who knows what's going to happen next? Like,
well, yeah, I mean, and the key in what you just said is that we need to speak up. The problem is that we're letting other people speak up, and then we're on our social media, and we're like, keyboard warriors saying, oh, this needs to happen, but we're not doing it ourselves. So like, yes, somebody else speaks up, but we need to start speaking up too. There has to be more of us.
Yeah, correct. It doesn't take much to start a podcast or start a blog or something, and just start talking with somebody like we're doing now. Like, we're starting this. Granted, it's a start, and then we're going to blueprint to get it better and better and better. And this just conversations need to keep happening. That's the problem. That's why they're putting that mask on people's faces. It's a slap in the face to tell you to shut up and sit down. And people need to realize that quickly. Yeah.
Yeah. What was it? There's a I wouldn't say friend, but an acquaintance of mine. And here in Oregon, I don't know how long ago now, but months ago, 6 months ago, something like that. But when they had a time where they were like, oh, you don't have to wear your mask anymore. We're good to go, blah, blah, blah. We got the 70%, or 60, whatever. And then it came down the line that we had to wear it again. It's just so stupid. So anyways, before that, one of the gals was wearing a mask. Well, it was at this coffee shop and wearing a mask. And then after, like, when we weren't supposed to, like, we're not supposed to, but I mean, we didn't have to, right? And she's still wearing a mask. And I asked her, and I'm like, so why are you still wearing a mask? And she goes, it's not because I want to, it's because I'm afraid of what my face is going to look like to other people. And I'm like, because she didn't know, like, she hadn't really smiled, to customers and whatever for a year. And
that's wild.
I'm like,
that is wild. It's creating so much psychological damage. It's not even funny.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's the type that drives in her car with her mask on now. And I'm like, come on, girl, what the hell?
Yeah, it's hard to not hate those people, and that's the problem with all of this. We're learning to hate each other, and that's not good because they're dividing us on so many sub levels. It's not even funny, to where it's impossible to unite. It seems.
It really is. I mean, I said this a while back with my wife, was that, and relating it, and I'm not trying to relate it back to Muslims, but it's like, when you have, where the women are covering their faces and everything else, and then now we're covering our faces, and we're like, it's shameful to take off our masks, and it's just there's a little correlation there, but it's like, I mean, I have no problems with Muslims, but it's like that aspect of like, you know, covering your face and shamefulness. And like, I walk into coffee shops, I don't wear a mask. Like I said, fuck it. I haven't worn a mask since day one.
Yeah.
Right. Walk in there and people are around in coffee shops like, oh my God. I mean, they're staring at me like, oh my God, he's not wearing a mask. I'm about ready to walk over these people, but like, you know what? You don't have to wear a mask. Take yours off.
Right.
Like,
and then they'll beat you up for saying that. It's crazy.
Well, I don't say shit because I have my business shirt on and then my business truck outside. So I kind of tend to.
Yeah, I get it. I do get that. I try not to do it either, but sometimes it's impossible not to say something.
Oh, I say things out loud. I mean.
Oh yeah, I get that.
I walk off and I'm like, I cannot believe that that person's wearing their mask on, and they're by themselves sitting at a table on their laptop, you know, and they're having their mask on while they're doing homework. And I'm like, so you've been indoctrinated to wear your mask, and now you don't know what else to do. I see kids walking home with their masks on down my street.
Yeah, I see that too. It's crazy. And they think it's fun to have a designer, a different logo on their masks, and it's so fun, guys. Let's put it on. And then they didn't realize that was going to turn into forever booster shots. They did take the people that are in charge of all this did take that playbook from the Muslims. Like, the mask will show that you are controlling them. I think they started this thousands of years ago when they put masks on prisoners.
Yeah.
And it showed them that they were less than human. And that's kind of where we're at. And people are so brainwashed to believe that freedom is selfish, and it's not. I just don't get it.
No, it's your own. Crazy now. It's your own body.
Right.
Right.
Once you give it up, you're screwed.
Yeah. Once you give it up, you're screwed. I was talking with my trainer the other day about vaccine, you know, and you know, I'm not taking it, but she is taking it, and I said, not that I'm saying, you know, that she was bad for taking it to her, but I said, you know, the reason why I didn't take it because it's choice. It's basically what it is, right? And of course, it has to do with a lot of other things, but for me, deep down, it's about choice. It's my body, my choice.
Yep, me too on that one.
So I mean,
I'm at the point where they got to make me, and then still not happening.
Those motherfuckers have to drag me off to get me to take that shit. No.
Yeah, I think that might be coming at some point, but I don't think so. But you never know.
You never know. But I mean, there's a video that I watched almost to the beginning, like almost the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Had to do with that they're trying. So the whole thing that's happening, and at that time, you know, talking about what was happening, had to do with separating out the people that are going to comply versus the people that are not going to comply.
Yep.
So
that's how you create enemies, pretty much. They know who to target if they ever get real control.
Yeah.
They don't have it yet, but if they get absolute control of the government, they're probably going to start culling people. And it's crazy that people just sit by and let it happen because they're brainwashed to think people that don't have the mask or the jab are selfish, and it makes sense to send them to a camp. It's really sad. They already have the camp. They're using the immigrants. They're putting them in the camps, but why is there barbed wire on some of them?
It's like
they can repurpose those real quick.
Yeah, testing grounds.
Right. It all makes sense now because that Patriot Act, I think that's a direct term. They're going to act against us. It's right in front of our faces.
have you I've been watching, so a lot of the shows that I've been watching over the years, I've kind of started looking at them in a standpoint of like the things they put in there, like
Yep.
you know, talking about pandemics or talking about like
Yep.
our freedoms. It's interesting because if you look at some shows that were done in like 2012 to like 2020, a lot of them talk about these kinds of things, and
Yep.
I'm almost thinking they're talking about it to you know, slowly input or imprint into psyche of people that this shit's going to happen. You know, I want you guys to be comfortable with this. You know, you accept it.
I think you're absolutely right. They were conditioning people to accept everything.
Yeah, I mean, I watch a show and I realize it, and I look over at my wife and I'm like, do you see that? Like,
yeah, I do that too. It annoys the hell out of my wife. She's like, "Can't we just watch a show without you calling out politics?" Like, it's all propaganda, really.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and there was I think it was right before the pandemic. God, I hate that word.
Yeah,
right
too.
Before that, where there was a conference that was there was a conference that was a bunch of countries, and they actually discussed.
You're talking about Event 201.
Event 201, that's what it is. Yes.
Yeah.
That,
and they planned it on in our military through Operation Dark Winter is similar to what's happening right now too. And in there is relocation of sick people to camps. They just never learn. And being a vet, I know some of our military will go along with it. Obviously, not all of them, because not all of them are willing to take the jab, which is why it's probably getting threatened of being kicked out, which gives us a militia to be able to fight things, but
yeah,
nobody wants to get their hands dirty. By even just speaking up. That's what I don't get. We could stop all the violence that might happen if people just spoke up en masse.
Well, okay, so one of the things that I think people are worried about is money, right?
True. Yep.
They're like, "What? How am I supposed to take care of my family?" Right. So, you know, and that's a big motivator for a lot of people, and especially military. You know, they've made a good life for them, right? Like with me, I mean, when I was in the military, you know, like I had good pay.
Yep.
And then, you know, when I got pushed out, you know, it was like a $2,000 shortfall, you know, that I had to make up. So I can understand.
Plus that free food on base helps too.
Well, there's that, yeah.
Some of it was pretty good too, honestly. But
the food in Afghanistan was pretty good too.
Oh yeah, that's true. That was some of the best food I had, because it was people from India cooking the Indian food. I'm like, this is the best stuff I've ever had.
Yeah. We one of the bases we were on, there was they had the European DFAC. And that was like, so American DFAC, or I could go to the European DFAC. I'm going to the European DFAC.
Right. Like, I'd go there to eat the non-boring food.
Yeah. I was like, I'm over burgers. You know, I want to check out some different nationalities. And
yeah, it's nice to be able to do that. That's why America's nice with that stuff. But yeah, I just don't understand them. I don't know how to get people to wake up even more, because like you said, the people ostracizing the people not wearing masks, that's happened within family units as well. I've noticed that with my wife's family and even my family. Like, we go visit them and they're wearing masks around people. I'm like, you might as well just tell me to fuck off, is what you're pretty much telling me. Like, you think I'm diseased, and it's usually the most unhealthy people that are doing it. I don't get it. I know I'm a big dude. Like, I'm overweight considerably, but I put on a lot of muscle and like eating better than most people. But I just don't understand. Like, based on their logic, I've never worn a mask and don't get the vaccine, and I should be dead by now. Like, that's pretty much how it seems like.
Yeah.
And I think they wish I would be dead, to be honest with you, the way they've been
programmed.
Because
they have to be able to understand the statistics. So like, true. If the statistics are telling them that people that don't wear masks, people that don't take vaccines are supposed to be dead, and you're not wearing a mask and you're not taking the vaccine, then they're going to be mad at those people because they're believing the statistics, but it has to match, and now it's like their brains are not working properly. They're short circuiting because they don't know how to deal with that.
Yeah, you're right. It's a complete mind fuck is what it is. It's just like if you go in the woods and, oh, there's a Bigfoot. What the fuck? It's not supposed to be there.
Exactly.
That even though that's the rabbit hole for another time. Like, yeah. I believe that's the stuff I get into sometimes when I try to get away from all this crap going on. I just dive down that rabbit hole. But it's like you're so programmed to believe that something's not true, and when you see it, it's crazy.
Well, I think it's been a long time that people have been programmed. It's slowly,
right.
Yeah. For me, I question everything. Like like when the virus came into the United States, and everybody started worrying about it and whatnot. My wife and I are just like, okay, well, we're gonna prep. We're gonna do the right things. Whereas some people were just freaking out, and it's like, come on, just
right. They panic bought the wrong kind of stuff when they should have been buying food, because that's going up in price. You're not gonna be able to afford it.
Don't buy your toilet paper, guys. Don't like over the top. Like, I have a neighbor across the street who has like, oh gosh, he still has like 5 packages of those, like, I think the 12 packs or something like that of toilet paper.
No, that's crazy. Well, people probably have a lot more than that, but they've been prepping over the decades.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those aren't so many crazy people anymore.
No.
Because there's about to be some hard times coming, and it's going to get crazy. I don't think it's going to get violent because people don't have the balls for that anymore, except for like the small pockets like Kenosha and stuff like that. But
yeah, I know. I think it depends on location too.
That's true. There's too many hunters in Oregon and like in the sticks, and I live in the country too in PA. There's way too many hunters for them to fuck around and find out.
Yeah, here in Oregon, they actually tried to pass a law that would stop, or it wouldn't allow hunters to be able to hunt game here.
That doesn't make any sense.
No.
That's going to take a lot of money out of the pockets of everybody.
Yeah, exactly. And my trainer and I and my wife were talking about it, for weeks, and we're just like, what's the point? Like, what's the point of making that stupid decision? Because you're obviously not gonna get money.
Maybe control the food. They don't want you to be able to stock up on food. Maybe
it could be,
or get rid of guns somehow. They just don't get it. They're not going to be able to do that. No. Like every time there's a whiff of it, people buy more and more. It's just,
people.
That's how it should be.
Which is the way America should be. Like, I'm not advocating like buying a bunch of guns and taking over things, but it's like, we should be able to do those kinds of things, right?
Correct. And that way you're safe if bad things happen, like Australia.
Yeah.
They are kind of screwed down there.
I watched
don't get people. Go ahead.
No, I was going to sort of change the subject, but I was watching this video of advances in technology, and it was talking about modifications that you can do with your vehicles.
Right.
And there's this one company in Germany that does these modifications to trucks and actually takes the lights and so like behind the light, all the space behind the light up until like the wheel well, they make like a shelf and a drawer in there. So you can basically take the light off and slide this little shelf out, your backlights. And then you could put like soda or like people are having their guns or whatever back there. You imagine
wild.
some of these trucks out there, like what they have hidden in their vehicles.
Yeah, exactly. And I think my one buddy that has a spare tire in the back of his Jeep, I think it is, like where it's like mounted in the back, where not like it's on the back of the car, it's like inside, and then there's that little hole. He just took the tire out and put some fun stuff in there, like water and maybe a pistol or two.
There you go.
But that's what most people need, just in case you get stranded on the side of the road. You don't have to worry about anything.
You want to be able to protect yourself.
Simple self-responsibility. That seems to be going away, and people want big government to take care of them.
Yeah, but at the end of it, they're afraid. So it's like,
that's true.
You want big government to take care of you, but then you're afraid of law enforcement. So it's one way or the other, people.
Yeah, they're afraid of law enforcement, so they ask for more law enforcement. That seems to be what it goes down to.
What was it there? A while back, I heard about I think it was some rally or something like that. I don't know if it was BLM or something. And they were talking about defund the police, but then they asked for the city to provide security.
Oh, I think that was in the George Floyd area. Where that happened. I think that might have been it.
I was just like,
but I'm sure that happens everywhere. I'm sure that happens in all those protests and riots.
Oh, I'm sure it is. But it's like, if you're protesting, not having police, but then you ask for the police to take care of you as you're protesting against them, what's the point?
Agreed. I don't see the point in it at all, except they just want the cops to be on their side and force their opposition out, pretty much.
Yeah.